All right, David Brock's back, SHUKC Sports Pass, joined by head coach of Sumner Academy, Andrew Wright. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you guys doing?
So starting out the season here, 2-2, tough loss last night against Sligo. Talk a little bit about the game last night and kind of what your impressions were.
Yeah, it was a tough physical football game, and I think both teams competed well. I know every time you play Schlegel, they're going to be really tough, and they're going to be really fast, and they're going to hit you in the mouth. And I told our kids that, and right off the bat, they hit us right in the mouth with about a 70-yard touchdown pass. But our kids really responded. They played tough for 48 minutes plus, in overtime, and sometimes it just doesn't go our way, and sometimes it's going to go our way. So, but I think that was a good experience game for our kids as far as I think they're starting to see the fruit of their hard labor start to work out for them. So, like I said, if we're ever in that situation again, hopefully we can pull it out.
So you were kind of groomed for this job by the former coach, Todd Wasserman. Talk a little bit about the process for you and taking over the program.
Yeah, really, there's three guys down there that I've learned a lot from. I've learned a lot from Richard Gleischman, who was my high school football coach.
Is he still helping?
He's our field manager, so he's always around. So he gives great advice, and he's one of my mentors. Todd Wasserman's another one of my mentors, and Was did a great job of just really interacting with the kids, like building those relationships. And then obviously Cecil Criswell. I know you guys know him very well. Very well. I have to give him a shout out.
You call him a mentor, though?
A mentor, a boss. Coaching baseball with Cecil, he really kind of showed me the way how to build a program. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my own dad, who a lot of people don't know is the swimming coach over at Cheyenne Mission East, and they've been ultra successful for 30 years. So those four guys have really shown me how to build the program. And right now, I know we want to win every single game, but it's not really about the wins and losses. It's about trying to build something that's going to sustain. And last night was a prime example of our kids they played hard, and that's what we want to see right now as far as the first year goes.
Now, does Sumner have swimming?
They do.
So you need to get a swimming program going over in the city, man. We need to get some of these kids in the city swimming or learning how to swim.
Does Sumner even have a pool?
They do, but we practice with Washington. So
yeah.
We're combined teams, and so
you get some hood kids swimming, man, like that movie Pride or something.
So you see the commercial with that kid playing polo or no, not polo, lacrosse. That we need to get a lacrosse program going.
Man, these kids think they tough. They need to get out there and play some lacrosse and take some.
Oh yeah, yep.
So how long did that process take? Because I know Todd talked for a couple of years. I know his son plays baseball, and he was wanting to be more active in doing that. How long did you guys plan this over the last few years that you were going to take over, and he kind of groomed you from there? Or how long did that process take? Or
I didn't really know until about last year, and he approached me and told me he wanted to spend more time with his family, and he's a great dad. And then Cecil contacted me, and we kind of talked about what direction we want to take the program, and so really from about December on, I kind of started planning for it, and I think I got the job in late December, early January, one of those two, and from then on it goes like that really. I mean, we put all the work in the spring, the summer, and now I always tell our kids too, once the season hits, I mean, it's a blur, because every single day you have to do. What your Mondays are going to look like. What your Tuesdays are going to look like, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and obviously we're all in this for Friday nights. So, it's once the season starts, it's kind of, it's full go for, 9, 10, 11 weeks. So I know the kids are kind of hurt this morning after the loss, but we'll watch film on that this morning, and then we'll, like I said, that's going to have to be in the past, and we'll have to play a good wind-out team.
There's nothing that would make me feel better as a new head coach knowing that you have an athletic director that you can run over. I mean, there's nothing that would make me feel so much better and confident about. I'm just playing.
I'm pretty sure I saw Cecil with a clipboard. He was taking some notes last night.
So Sumner, are you a Sumner alumni?
I am.
Okay, Sumner alumni. Where'd you end up going to college?
I went to KU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Rock chalk.
Is that why you had that question in here?
No, I didn't know where he went. I wanted to know where he went to school.
Rock chalk.
He had the KU apparel on when he came in.
So anybody, taking over a job, you've been in the program for a few years now. What are some of the things that you knew that you coming into the job maybe that you wanted to change or do a little bit differently to kind of put your stamp on the program?
Yeah, I really believe in a team atmosphere, and I know we have 43 kids out for football as far as from grades 9 through 12, and it really preaching the fact that all 43 mean the exact same thing to me personally, and everybody in that program has a role, and it just so happens football you only have 11 guys that could play on the field at one time, but every single person has a role in the program, and really hard work and dedication and paying a price and really I told our coaches this last night. I told our players this last night. I mean, they were hurting after the loss, and that's good. I mean, that's a good thing because that means they generally care about what's going on in the program. They generally care what's going on, as far as their preparation, and they were crushed. But and it's a team atmosphere. We have a lot of good football players. But it's not about them. It really isn't. I mean, they were crushed for the guys next to them, everybody involved. So really trying to get that team atmosphere, building the program the right way. It's going to take a little while, but hard work, being unselfish, and doing what's best for our team.
So you talk about those 43 guys, and Sumner's in one of those kind of unique situations. So I think about, for example, your Lansings and your Pipers and Basers, some of those schools where a lot of the youth programs is doing some of the same things the high schools is doing to kind of start getting them prepped. You guys are in a situation where you have 8th graders.
Right.
How much are the 8th graders just completely separate, or are you guys trying to implement a little bit what you guys do in the high school there so they can be ready when they become 9th and 10th graders?
Yeah, that's one area I really wanted to focus on was 8th grade because we are slowly putting our stuff, what we do on the varsity level, and the 8th grade level. I didn't want to. We're running a totally different offense in the flex bone, and so I didn't want to totally throw that to our 8th grade coaches. But a lot of what we do defensively, they're doing, and some of the concepts as far as the veer game and option game, they're doing as well. So really, and I'm actually going to the 8th grade game after our film session, our practice this morning. So those kids are, they are the future, really. So really concentrating on the 8th grade program, like you said, is going to be really important for us. Just because we have that luxury, because we do have 8th graders in our building. So
last night, Ben got nicked up, and you had number 11. I can't think of the kid's name.
Sean Houston. Yeah.
So I hear great things about him as a freshman. Talk a little bit about him and kind of he does punt returns for you guys right now too. Talk a little bit about his maturity and maybe being the future at quarterback for you guys.
Nashawn's a great kid. He's just an awesome kid. I actually have him in class in my world history class, and he's the same kid on the football field in the classroom. Just very quiet, but he does the best he possibly can. And he's a great kid. I can't overstate that. But he's fast, really fast. And I know we've had 2 issues on punts, and every time we have an issue, I have to. I think it was Coach Todd last night. Kind of had to come over and say, "Well, he's 15 years old." And I said, "Well, that's right. He's 15 years old. He probably shouldn't be back there." Actually,
one of the funniest things last night when Ben went out, he goes to go take some practice snaps. Kid drops the ball on the practice snap. I was like, "Man, he's nervous."
He is.
You
nervous.
could tell.
He is nervous. But the thing about Nashawn is he wants to do the best he possibly can for the team. And I haven't got early on against Bishop Warren our first season because he does play a cornerback. He did have that deer in the headlights look, but now the game's starting to slow up, and he had a awesome pick against Harmon, and he had a great pick last night that set us up for our touchdown, and so he's going to be a special player. I really believe that, and I know
he completed his first ball, despite what it looked like. It was a completion.
Yeah,
so
in practice we never complete those, but he's a great kid, and I know he's going to work his tail off in the off season with the footwork, because running an option team with the flex bone, it's really all about footwork, and I know he's going to work his tail off, and he's going to be a good player for us down the road.
So when you take over a job, you kind of, especially a head coach job, you kind of see how much goes into becoming the head coach. What kind of jumps out to you that maybe you didn't think about as far as or didn't anticipate having to deal with as a head coach?
Yeah, I'm going to bring Cecil up again. I talk to him every day, but things that happen on a daily basis that you didn't plan for. and it's nothing. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not serious. For instance, yesterday our buses were late. Picking us up.
That's a Cecil problem.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not. But there's certain things that happen every single day which you didn't plan for, and it takes a lot of your time. That you felt like, well, I should have been actually game planning instead of taking care of this little problem. So just little problems like that happen every single day. You just don't plan for them, and so. But it's been a lot of time. But I'm having a blast. I probably have big bags under my eyes, but that's okay.
Yeah, you get to sleep in the off season.
That's right.
So you still calling the offense. Kind of talk a little bit about your offensive philosophy and what you're wanting to continue to maybe build on as you get, year 2, year 3.
Right. So this year, this off season, our staff met, and again, I see a lot of spread offenses, and I wish we could run the spread, but our kids are dictated. I want to put our kids in the best possible position. And I knew a little bit about the flexbone offense, and I actually talked to some coaches around the area about the flexbone. And really what it does is it puts our kids in the best possible positions. And I'm talking up front, and Ben does a great job of running the mesh. I mean, he really does. In the Harmon game, he had really 2 or 3 instances where they literally thought Lenny had the ball, and he actually had pulled it, and he had the pitch, and we scored on one of those, and he kept it. So Ben does a great job of running the option game. He's a great option quarterback for that simple reason. And really, I knew last night they were going to key on Lenny, and really in the option, that takes out, Greg Sloan's a great defensive player, but I knew he was going to key on Lenny, and he did. He tackled Lenny, and Ben kind of read it right. And so when they're keying on your best player, it gives a lot of opportunities to our slot backs like Mark Singleton, Kylan Lindsey, Mayshawn. So
it's been a few years since Sumner has competed for a league or a playoff spot. That banner year in 2010 kind of comes to mind. What is your vision for getting the program kind of back to that local elite status?
And we talk about that all the time. Really this year, it's really about setting the foundation. And I know we're 2-2. Last night could have gone either way, really. But I think last night gave our kids a lot of confidence because we had not played Schlegel close in probably four years. They had really had our number, but setting the foundation, letting the kids know, and they're seeing their hard work start to pay off. So our seniors have really unselfish because they knew they had to lay the foundation this year, and I know it's their last year, so we're trying to do everything we can to send them out on a good note. But year to year, just trying to get better each and every single year toward year 3, year 4, we are competing, and not only competing in our league, trying to do something in districts and all of that. So trying to get that. That 2010 team had a lot of confidence, and for good reason.
Had athletes too.
They had athletes, but and our kids are starting to get that confidence. They're starting to see that they can play with a lot of the other kids here in KCK.
Well, let's talk about Leonard Green because he's off to just a crazy start, and you try to balance, I guess, how much you give him the ball because of how much he plays on defense. Do you try to limit the number of carries he has on offense because of how valuable he is on the defensive side of the ball as well?
Yeah, that we actually do that. We try to give him a couple plays off here and there on offensive series, but he's about as valuable can get because he's also our kicker.
Right.
But and
he did good on kickoffs too.
But Lenny is just a tough individual. That's how I best describe him. He's pretty quiet, but he's very, very tough. And when Lenny Green hits the field, he's going to give it absolutely the most he can, the best he can. And so he leaves it out on the field. And really, this offense is kind of built around him because he is a tough load to bring down. And defensively, he just plays a great linebacker for us. And but Lenny would tell you, it's a credit to his teammates. It's a credit to the kids around him. But you're right, he's off to a fantastic start running the football, and he makes plays when we need him most. Like that Harmon game, we weren't getting third down stops, and even on fourth down, they were going for it. We didn't get stops. Well, they drove it all the way down there, and Mark Singleton has a great hit, and Ignacio Pardo and Chris Brown also were part of that hit. And then Lenny scoops it up, And as soon as Lenny got the ball, I was just thinking no penalty because you know he's going to score. Nobody's going to catch that kid, especially when he gets full head of steam. So I was just trying to keep our bench back and look, no clips, guys, just no penalties.
I got a picture of that one fumble he had on your sideline. He kicked the ball out of
right?
Russ' hands, so that's a crazy play. Talk a little bit about Singleton. I remember him a couple of years ago. He won our SHUKC Player of the Year award. He had like 100 and some yard interception return for touchdown
in our end zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been a good player, been a good balance, or trying to provide some balance for Lenny. Getting to the edge and everything. Talk a little bit about Mark.
Yeah, Mark's last year I know he was injured, and the year before he was on and off with injuries. So this year is his first year of being truly healthy, and Mark again is just a really tough kid. Some of the things he does don't get seen by a lot of people, but he plays a tough cornerback, and we're asking a lot from him. We're cover one, he is 5'8", but he's not going to give an inch, and he takes on blockers. Last night, for instance, he set the edge on our back end of our defense well, him and Craig Routine. But Mark is fast, he's shifty, he's hard to see in our flex bone, to be honest with you, when we do pitch it. And he gets the tough yards. In fact, he was probably one of the major reasons why we won the Harmon game. It was a crucial. We were going in for our second score to go up. I believe at that time 37-16, and we were trying to just run it, get the clock going. And it was our 4-option game, and he got a tough yard, got the first down, and so it rolled the clock over again. So Mark's just, again, an unselfish kid, cares about the team, does not care about himself, but does everything we ask, and he does it to the best of his ability.
So I had a follow-up question actually earlier, Leonard, that David jumped in and bumped me out the way on because he thinks he gets to run this show. But he's also a talented wrestler and broke out in baseball a little bit last year. So when you think about next level for him, what do you think is going to be his best fit or his sport focus, you think?
Well, I am blessed because I get to coach him in both sports. I get to coach him in football and baseball. And really, you just never know. One day he could be a good. He wants to have his attention to football, and then the other day he wants to have his attention to baseball. And I guess that's a decision him and his family are gonna have to make. But really, he can play either sport at the next level.
There's some colleges talking to him for football.
There are some there's some colleges that are starting to see his stats and starting to see what he does on the football field and starting to contact us. And baseball wise too, I think he had a great summer in baseball. So that was the.
Who's he play with?
He was out. I don't know the exact team. He was out at I can't think of the place. It's on 87th, just off 7 Highway. Can't think of it.
Johnson County 32.
I think he probably does play, but I think he travels.
Yeah,
he travels too.
And I know he had a great summer. And Lenny, it's so funny. Lenny in baseball is just a freak of nature. Really, I mean, he's fast. He's really fast in center field. He's got a cannon in his arm. Now, what I told him this year, however many touchdowns he's scored, and I think he's scored right now 7. I need 7 home runs actually in the baseball season. He needs to be driving the ball with a lot of power actually. But no, I see either one. I know that's a decision that him and his family are going to make, and I'm just going to try to support him no matter what.
Just happy to hear there's some baseball players back in the area.
Yeah, well, Ben Miller's a great baseball player.
Yeah,
so we have I get to coach these guys in the fall, and then I get a little break from them in the winter, and then we do baseball conditioning in February. So
I tell you what, Ben is one of my favorite kids in the area. Every time I see him, he always comes up and he speaks. I could be out at the Legends or something. He'll come up and say hello, always smiling. He umpires Little League. He did one of my kids' games.
Ben Miller's probably one of the most popular kids in our school and then in the community. But Ben does a great job too. I think this year finally, in most quarterbacks will kind of cringe when they run the flex bone because they're not going to get the yards of passing and some of those stats, and that's just a testament to Ben this year as far as, what can I do to help the team? And he's running the operation great. I know his stats aren't the best stats in the world, but right now we're 2-2, and that's what he cares about, that's what I care about, and that's what the team cares about.
Let's do some quick hits.
Uh-oh.
So you've got to see Atchison, and now you got to see Sligo. What do you think about that matchup?
Those are two good football teams, and I would be scared to give a prediction, but They're two good football teams. Coach Smith does a great job. Coach Williams at Schlegel. I mean, they're both fast. They're both physical.
Come on, I said Atchison in a route earlier.
I don't know if it'll be a. I think Schlegel
gonna be a
could
close game,
slow him
yeah.
down a little bit.
Well, what happens is
Route.
Atchison is they concentrate really on the perimeter, with Gill and
which will
so
play
the
right
wingman-
into Schlegel's hands.
It will to a certain extent, but I mean they're going to have matchups with their other receivers when they're one-on-one.
Right, right.
And Gill has improved greatly with his passing ability, and Schlegel's going to run the football, and that gets the clock going.
Yeah.
And the way to stop a spread team is making sure their offense doesn't have the ball. So.
And when I say route, I mean like 21 points, get off the sticks on Madden route. So once you get to 21, you got to give up the sticks. So that's what I say by route. Another quick hit: Ginger or Marianne?
Man, are you old enough to even know what that means?
Yeah,
I mean, it's your question. I mean,
No, I don't. I'm not old enough to know what that means.
You didn't watch Gilligan's Island as a kid?
Not a lot.
did you?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
That was like part of my daily
didn't watch a
routine.
lot of TV
Yeah, I
when
didn't
was a
watch it
kid.
like that.
I was
And
watching
that's
SportsCenter.
like the conversation between.
Okay, so what about Kelly or Jesse?
Say about the belt.
See,
I do
there we
know
go.
that.
I need to come up a few years.
I would go Kelly that one.
So let me think of who. Okay. Jesse was the tall one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. True or false? The Royals will win the World Series this year.
Oh man, I wish you had asked me like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
or a month ago. I know they're having a bad September, but I'm gonna go and say true. I think those guys are determined guys, and just tasting the World Series last year, getting to the last out of the season. I think they're on a mission. Hopefully, they can turn it back on.
I think they're just sandbagging.
No, they ain't sandbagging.
To take the foot off the gas, to make everybody think we're a little weak right now. Then
No, I was a little disappointed with what they did. I mean, home field would be a big deal for them.
It would be a big deal
And
because
they basically just threw away yesterday
so let me get this straight. Did they not get home field
for the
What-
World Series.
for the World Series, but not for
through the
the
playoffs. You got to have the
Us,
best record.
Best
Gotcha.
record in the American League.
So
And
Toronto won again yesterday, so now they're only a game
And I
up.
would rather play Toronto 3 game, or in the ALCS, I guess 4 games here in Kaufman than back in their
Back
hitting
there.
park.
Yeah, they,
I've just always been a dude. It's like, I mean, yeah, you like to have home field, but you just got to go out and play regardless.
they'll have to do what they got to do. We'll see. Hey, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time this morning. I know you got to get to film study and go watch the 8th graders.
Yeah.
Good luck to you the rest of the way, and we appreciate you coming out and talking to us.
Thanks, guys. Again, you guys do a great job covering high school sports here in the Metro. Thank you, guys.
Hey, no problem. All right, this is David Brox with Vernon Birmingham. We'll be right back.